Today is February 19th, 2021, and I just noticed my flash. Ever since the Bell chat, another thing that became very dysfunctional is the flash. I'm not able to use the flash at all. Um, and if you say that's battery, I've got a few things to tell you, but I'm not going to include that here. Okay, remember people, you got to look at the whole context. You got to look at the history, the experience, and the whole context. Okay, you can't just you can't just spew out these statements. Like you got to think before you talk. You gotta dig it a little deeper first before you make judgments. Okay, so Bell video number 3. Okay, um, now first of all, I want to say that I got hit with such a horrible, debilitating pain in my thumb. Okay, right here in the middle of my thumb, right there, right there. Okay, it was it seemed innocuous, but it was so painful. It was extremely painful, and so I couldn't move on to do another video yesterday. By the way, that first video that I did is still uploading. It's taking it's moving very slowly. So yeah, I got hit. I couldn't do the second one, which is the one I'm talking about now, or the third one, because of this really strange pain that hit my thumb, and it was so virulent that I had to go lie down because of a pain in my thumb. I had to go lie down, and I don't have arthritis, and I don't have problems with my thumb and my joints, and like I said, I don't have arthritis, and I certainly, you know, don't. I've never been someone to suffer pain like this. Never. It just everything all hit when I turned 50, except the hacking and the persecution, the hostility at the schools, etc. That all started before I turned 50. That hit. That of course that my children were involved in that too, and very sadly and unfortunately. But the physical stuff started when I turned 50. A lot of really bizarre physical stuff. Um, so basically, let's anchor ourselves back here. So I wanted to show you the last part of the chat because I just want to point out how odd this statement is at the very end of the chat, and that's just before. I think that's just before I gave up. It said that the representative is back on, and I'm like, screw you. After all that time, I'm gonna continue playing these games and waste more of my life. So Joseph, I really want to help you, Mrs. Cancellaire, but Bell has limitations when it comes it to this, since it's under our control. Okay, that sounds like he's jesting. That sounds like he's being sarcastic. Because what he's saying is there's limitations, but it's all under our control. So I don't get it. That's a very contradictory message. So you have Why do you have limitations then? You seem to be talking about some significant limitations, but at the same time, everything is under your control. Well, I agree with that, the service provider, but I've tried to get help from service providers before. First it was Rogers, and then I think I tried with Bell. I tried the police. I tried Geek Squad. I tried media, when I can reach them, that is, when I can actually physically contact them. I tried lawyers. No, I must be on some kind of blacklist with lawyers because they don't want anything to do with me. And I don't even, I've never dealt with lawyers before, but when I tried, it was a really bad experience, and most of them weren't nice at all, and they just didn't want to take. That was back when I had to use a reason because people all started to put all this pressure on me that I need to see a psychiatrist. I'm like, what? I'm not on any medications. I've never been on medications. What is all this pressure to go to see a psychiatrist now? It was very scary, actually, very, very scary, because it seemed really foreign and it just came out of nowhere. Um, I'm sort of digressing here a bit, but that's when I received a poison drug. It was a poison drug. The reason I say poison is because it could have blinded me. My doctor said that. She said, I don't know where shoppers got this eye drop. It was before my laser surgery, which I never had done because I got spooked. And she goes, I don't know where they got this. It's not even on the list. So anyway, when I first contacted lawyers, which I never did again after that because it was horrible, It was about this poison eye drop, but they wouldn't take me. They would not take me, even for something like that. And I could have been blinded. I put a few. I put like I think I put one or two more drops than I should have at the time, but I didn't know it was toxic to me. And she said, "Oh yeah, no, you could have lost your sight." So anyway, they didn't think that was important, the lawyers. So anyway, back to this. Yeah, that's a very unusual statement. It's very contradictory. We have serious limitations, but it's all under our control. So that means they don't want to do it. They want to keep me persecuted. Okay, so we're going to move on from that. That was just the last statement, because the whole chat was very strange. Not just the content and what they were saying, but the way it was moving along, the way it was progressing and ensuing. It wasn't progressing at all, actually. Now, I want to talk about immediately after the conversation or the chat. All of a sudden, that's when my internal storage, or my camera storage, got switched to internal storage. Now, for months, I wasn't having, for I would say probably maybe 2 months, I wasn't having any trouble with the camera storage. It was staying where it should be, which is SD card, because that's where I set it. I set it on SD card all the time. I wasn't having any problems. And all of a sudden, after the chat, when I started to document what had happened in the chat, now everything changes. I'm going to go through this quickly. Number 8. Where is 8? 8, 8, 8, 8, 8. I had 8 here right in front of me, and of course now it's gone. Here it is. Okay, so I'm just going to read it to you. Right after, I'm going to show you the picture of the way I organize. I can be very organized. That's the way I organize it. I label them, I rename them. It takes a lot of time. It's taking a lot of my life to document this persecution. Okay, it's taking a lot of my life, and also the stress has probably taken a big chunk of my life off too. Right after the Bell chat, when I started to document, organize, and label all of my screenshots of the chat, suddenly the screenshots were not appearing in the folder that I was moving them to in my SD card. After attempting to move a huge group of them, like I would move like this plus 10 times more, like more than this. After attempting to move a huge group of them again and again, I realized that the camera storage had just been mysteriously reverted to internal storage. So I found them in a hidden area in the internal storage, which is why they were not appearing in the folder on my SD card, which is where I was moving them to, or trying to move them to. Note, the camera storage was working fine, I mentioned that, for a few months, so this mysterious sudden dysfunction of the cell phone can definitely be linked to Bell and my documentation of this negative, very negative experience. Now, on the next page, number 9, this is sort of repeating it a little bit, but I need to get the point across. Bell continued. Cell storage mysteriously reverts to internal storage. So after the Bell chat, my camera wasn't working, just like after the police were here, or after I have any, and there are many, after a negative experience with a large company or a large organization, what happens is I go through a blackout. I call them a blackout, where everything just stops working for weeks. I eventually realized that the cell's default storage had been changed to internal storage. Okay, so there you go. I'm not going to get much on internal storage, right? So it's an easy way to hack someone, right? Or to stop them from documenting something that you know is wrong. If you know it's wrong, you don't want them to document it, keep their mouth shut, then you put their storage on internal storage. Well, what can I save on that? And meanwhile, this is showing 66%. Look at that blue line. Look at the blue bracket. Look how much space there is. But again, like as you know, I still had to go buy a brand new SD card, which I can't even afford. I can't even afford toothpaste sometimes. Storage full, not enough space on SD card. Really? Wow. You see the connection? You understand the connection? Not enough storage on space on SD card. File will be saved to internal storage. To free up space, delete some files. See, they're always telling me to delete files. I don't want to delete files. I don't want to be forced to delete files if quickly. I used to do that before, and then I ended up deleting stuff I didn't want to delete. So if I'm forced to do it in a kind of a panic, fast way, I make mistakes, right? And I don't want to feel like I'm forced to do it. Okay, so I went through that. Now the next page, could not change storage back to SD card. So I ejected. Now this is one thing that I have to stress, that I'm constantly ejecting, which I shouldn't even be doing. I'm constantly ejecting the tray with the SIM card and the SD card, and then reinstalling it to get this message that says change to SD storage. Okay, so I'm going to explain that here. I ejected the SIM SD tray many times to get the camera storage setting, see below. But despite choosing change each time, the camera storage kept reverting back to internal storage. So change storage to SD card, that's what you get when you reinstall the SD card. When you go to camera, it'll say change to SD, yes, and I press yes, change, 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 change. But no, it kept going back to internal storage. Oh, this is a good one. Storage full. Not enough space on all storage. To free up space, delete some files. Would you like me to delete some Bell files, perhaps? So basically that's, stressing that, no matter how many times I change the camera storage to SD or memory storage, it keeps going back to internal storage. Now, just a little bit, tiny bit more here. On page 11, the first 3 points here connect to what I've been saying, okay? When trying to, this is another form of hacking that happens to me all the time. When trying to print, photocopy an excerpt from the chat, I encountered many technical issues. Couldn't reduce the brightness on the cell. Now, in order to print off something like this, for example, I would need to reduce the brightness to half. Okay, and this is what I get. So the best way to get clear resolution is to reduce the brightness to half. But the brightness would not move. So not only would the brightness not move on the bar, like the ball on the bar, there's a ball and you have to move it up and down, it wouldn't move. It was resisting me once again. And then not only that, but then it got to a point I couldn't even pull down the brightness bar. So the white space that you pull down, it was resisting me. It was playing games, like it was like playing. I would push it down, it would go back up. I would push it down, it would go back up. I would push it down, it would go back up. And this happens to me a lot. So I couldn't pull down the brightness bar. I couldn't move the ball on the brightness bar to get it to go to medium. And then not only that, but this also happens a lot, is when I go to a screenshot, because I want to photocopy the screenshot that I've archived. When I go to a screenshot, what happens is it pulls away. It disappears. It just moves itself to the right. And then I try to get it back, and then it goes back really fast again. It disappears fast again. It goes to the right. And I try to pull it back, and then it goes back. So it's resisting me. It keeps resisting me. So that's definitely interference. Definitely interference. There's no question about it. And that sums up that section. Now, for the Bell blackout, I'm going to do another video soon about the printer and the way the printer behaves. Well, that's a good one.